Welcome back to Off 63rd with Garrard and McClendon. After the show, Chicago, from the beach to the burbs, they've decided to stick around. Che, Rhymefest Smith, 20th Ward. I've got Roderick Sawyer, 6th Ward. Yes, and from the 16th Ward, Hal Baskin. Gentlemen, thanks for staying with us a little bit longer.
My pleasure.
Because the bottom line is we are in some dire times right now. Chicago is in debt.
Yes.
Crime is rampant. The unemployment rate is sick.
Yes.
We are in a deep recession right now. I still got phone calls coming in. Che, Rhymefest Smith, as the show ended, you were talking about economic development, talking about, all three of you were talking about the Walmarts. Let's talk about crime, though. And you mentioned education.
Yes.
How can that decrease crime? And be very specific when it comes to sustainability and measurability in terms of education decreasing crime.
Well, we know that education can decrease crime because we can see directly the programs, the non-for-profit programs that take young brothers and sisters in, the reentry programs that take young brothers and sisters in, and the ones that are successful, how low the recidivism rate is when it comes to going back to prison. One of the things that I would like to do as alderman, I don't need $110,000 to live in the 20th Ward. I'm not doing this for the money. I want to give back a portion of the aldermanic salary to help create entrepreneurial mechanisms for young brothers and sisters that are re-entering the system to start their own businesses. This is how we create economic development, but they have to be educated. One of the things that we see is that we don't have a problem as black people starting businesses. We have a problem maintaining businesses and helping them to thrive. So we need training in entrepreneurism to help our businesses thrive. You have a white business, a Korean business, and a black business. The white business and the Korean business on the same block are doing great. The black business is suffering. Not because something's wrong with the people in the ward, but because the person with the black business owner, needs to know about the paperwork, needs to know about the taxes and the infrastructure so that they can give a quality product at a quality price.
Hal Baskin, education decreasing crime. Talk to me.
Well, education is going to have a major impact on that, but what decreases crime is that when young people see things, they can do things. So they can't be what they can't see, they got to see it. And I've been working with young people for the last 32 years in this community. I opened up the Peace Community Center to get young people off the street with little or no money, pro bono, $20,000 a year for myself, feeding them in the Kids Cafe program, getting them off, and having them learn some things when they get out of school. They have a quiet environment to come and learn at the Peace Community Center, which is right around the corner at 6455 South 1 Peoria. It takes some nurturing because most of the families are not like the Huxtables or the Cleveland Beaver family, you know what I'm saying, or the Harry Nelson family. Yeah. Sometimes that's grandma, and grandma needs some help, as much help as she can. So if those young people can come to those off-the-street centers that they're not funding, because we don't have a lot of YMCAs and a lot of YWCAs in our community.
No Brady Bunch.
So we got to get them off the street. And I've seen this. I've seen the police department pull up on individuals that get off the street, go somewhere, not send them nowhere, not having no place for them to go. Yeah. If you invest money in that on the front end, you can deter crime. As opposed to in 2006, myself and Congressman Rush brought a team of everybody from Bill Daley to Jerry Reinsdorf to his church, the fact, how can we stop this crime and violence? Look, let's produce jobs. We produced 1,200 jobs in 2006 and reduced crime and violence in 2006 by putting young people to work in the summer of 2006. So those are the things you have to do. You have to not only just educate, you have to have some place to bring them in. Because I got tired of school when I was a kid. You go in school all day and then you want me to go out the front door, come around the back to after school social center program. Yeah. I'm through with school. Let me leave the school, go to another environment, so I can be better exposed to other people and other things.
Roderick Sawyer, I can leave off 63rd after this show, get a white t-shirt, 2 cell phones, blue jeans, sagging, and I can make some crazy paper on the corner, especially if I'm gang affiliated. So how do you fight that? Education and economic development becomes a cliche in some of our communities. So how do we attack the drug trade, or do we replace it with something?
You replace it with something. You have to have options. They took away all of our options years ago. We have to get them back. We have no training schools. Not everybody's equipped to go to college. Not everybody's equipped to be a rocket scientist. But they're great paying jobs in industrial jobs, other commercial jobs. We don't have any more training centers to teach people to be a carpenter, teach people to be a bricklayer, heavy equipment operator, in the TV production business. We have to have more opportunities for people. Right now, we have no opportunity. That's our problem. When we say to someone, get off the street, I talked to a young brother on the street. He said, just got out of jail 2 weeks ago. I don't want to go back in these streets, but I need something to do. Give me something. You know, that's so frustrating, you know, when they took away from these things, especially with school system.
Right.
So drug dealing's not genetic.
No, it's not genetic.
No, it's not genetic.
But it is environmental.
Let me.
Is it not? Is it not environmental?
Let me break in on this because see, Roderick struck a nerve there with myself. See, if you don't get on the highways and byways and understand the dynamics of what's happening with young people out there, all the young guys sitting on the block selling drugs are not making any money. Okay. I mean, it's a small percentage of people making money. They really don't want to be there.
The book Freakonomics, the two professors from University of Chicago said the average drug dealer on the corner makes about $900 per month. So you're right. They're not making any money.
They're taking a risk because that's all they do.
The cats above them, of course, they rolling a little bit higher, but yes, they are taking a big risk.
But they rolling the dice because it's going to be the graveyard or the penitentiary or somewhere in between, you know, in somebody's wheelchair. So all I'm taking risks they don't know. That's why the educational aspect come in. See, I educate them because I go on the highways and byways every day and talk to young people. You know, I created the gang deactivation program at Inglewood High School back in 1992, and also Robeson, where they had a high rate of violence in and around the school.
But was
you had to go ahead and talk with the young people.
Was the program sustainable, measurable, and was it effective?
The program was sustainable and measurable because when I went in there, they only had 41 graduates. The following year, and then the enrollment at the time was under 800. The following year, when I put the program in there was over 1,265 students, and 130 students graduated that following year. So this is sustainable. Okay. But you had R.G. Johnson in there at the time. So when they brought Paul Vallis in, he said there was no gangs in Inglewood. Well, Inglewood is a community school, and the kids that go to the school live in Inglewood, so what's in the school?
Gotta move to Chase Smith, and I'm going to phones.
One of the things we need also is incentives for young brothers and sisters. And I don't believe the right incentives have been put in the right places. We can use music and arts all day long for young people to inspire literacy, to inspire mathematics. There's a project going on in your ward, Switch Dreams, where they use basketball to help young people learn mathematics. The incentives work, and we need to utilize them. Yeah. But they got to be from a face they're familiar with and feel like it's on their side.
I like that. Let me go to phone lines. I think I've got Donna on the line or anyone calling off 63rd with Garrard McClendon. Talk to me. What's on your mind this evening?
Yes, Garrard?
Yes.
Yes, first of all, let me congratulate you for being such a strong individual.
Thank you.
Yes,
I would first of all like to say I'm very proud of Rhymefest. I am one who is sick and tired of Chicago black politicians. And I think this man has some fresh ideas we need to hear, and he really wants to help his ward. I don't live in any of the ward. And I would like to say Hal Baskin, I think it's his time. I think he should win to be an alderman. I've been hearing news reports about him for years. Some of them have been hilarious. But I hope that he makes it as alderman this time.
Thank you.
Donald, thank you for the call. We appreciate it. Getting mad props to Chase Smith and Hal Baskin, Roderick Sawyer. I got to ask you this question.
Yes, sir.
I'm on your website earlier today. I got a little choked up because I felt that your father had a heart for the people, and I can see his face in your face. What do you feel for the people in the legacy of Eugene Sawyer?
Wow. I was born in this community, born to two public servants, my father and my mother. My father obviously was a public servant. My mother was a school teacher. They instilled in me that public service is an honorable thing to do. You know, people were, you were held in high esteem because you performed a public service. You didn't make a lot of money, but you had a lot of friends, you had a lot of contacts. That was instilled in me from birth. And as I grew up, it was important to me because I was always at my father's side. I learned a lot And, you know, my father happened to be a politician. That's what I learned. I learned how important it was to be effective with your community, to be connected with all areas of the community, to deliver high quality service. These are things that I learned, and I'm living my life in that. When I got out of law school, I stayed right back in my community. It didn't go anywhere. I immediately got involved in all the community organizations that my father was involved in. Not because it was something that I had to do, it was something I wanted to do. Matter of fact, I had the pleasure of working with Hal Baskin over the years when I was a young lawyer through gang initiatives, you know, trying to get people off the street. That's how I got to know Hal, and we sat there and talked and argued and fight, but it was for the benefit of young brothers and sisters on the street, and I learned a lot doing all that. So, and my father was always encouraging me to stay involved, stay connected with your people, love your neighbors, you know, be involved, make friends, because enemies come naturally. So this is what I continue to do, and this is what I do. I would do this for free, and I do it for free. So, you know, get like Mr. Smith said, the salary is not what's important to me.
No, it's not.
Serving the people is what's important.
Okay, now.